You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday, the 6th of January. Jaishankar meets NSA. Sullivan acknowledges his contribution in strengthening India-US ties. Amid Islamabad's calls to mend ties, Pak PM reignites Kashmir propaganda. And amid strained ties, Bangladesh cancels judges training program scheduled in India. And now for all the details. Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar on Monday met US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan in New Delhi, with discussions on enhancing bilateral, regional and global cooperation. Highlighting the significance of their discussions, Jaishankar acknowledged Sullivan's personal contribution in strengthening the India-US partnership over the past 4 years. Sullivan is on his 2-day visit to India ahead of the inauguration of Donald Trump as the US President on January 20th. The visit marks one of the last foreign engagements under the administration of Joe Biden. NSA Sullivan is also expected to meet his Indian counterpart Ajit Doval, where they are said to have discussions on areas like defense, strategic technology, space and shared security priorities in the Indo-Pacific region.
Today, the U.S. isn't just selling defense systems to India. We are making them here in India. And the United States has become a top destination for Indian defense exports. We launched a first-of-its-kind initiative, IndusX, that is awarding American and Indian startups the funding to more rapidly bring new technologies forward to our militaries.
Meanwhile, India lodged a strong protest this past weekend against the establishment of 2 new counties by China along the line of actual control, which includes areas under the Union Territory of Ladakh. New Delhi reiterated that it has never recognized Beijing's illegal occupation of the region. According to China's state-run news agency Xinhua, the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region announced the creation of 2 new administrative units in the disputed territory of Aksai Chin. Reacting to this development, India's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said that parts of these so-called counties fall within India's Union Territory of Ladakh. He emphasized that India does not and will never accept China's illegal occupation of these areas. Jaiswal further underscored that the establishment of the new counties would neither alter India's position on its sovereignty over the region nor legitimize China's forcible occupation. Relations between the 2 Asian giants remain fraught, particularly following a deadly military clash along the line of actual control in 2020. However, tensions showed signs of easing after the 2 countries reached an agreement in October to disengage troops from their remaining standoff points in the western Himalayas.
We have seen the announcement pertaining to the establishment of 2 new counties in Hotan Prefecture of China. Parts of jurisdiction of these so-called counties fall in India's Union Territory of Ladakh. We have never accepted the illegal Chinese occupation of Indian territory in this area. Creation of new counties will neither have a bearing on India's long-standing and consistent position regarding our sovereignty over the area, nor lend legitimacy to China's illegal and forcible occupation of the same. We have lodged a solemn protest with the Chinese side through diplomatic channels on this matter.
Moving on. Amid recent calls to mend ties with New Delhi, Pakistan on Sunday once again stirred the Kashmir issue, with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif reiterating the country's so-called resolve to support the Kashmir people. In a statement, Sharif claimed that Pakistan remains committed to extending full moral, political and diplomatic support to the Kashmiri people in their pursuit of self-determination. He also urged the United Nations to intervene in the matter. The statement comes just days after Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar publicly called for improved relations with India, exposing the stark contradictions in Islamabad's approach. The Indian Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, parts of which are illegally occupied by Pakistan, has long been a point of contention between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. Since their independence, India and Pakistan have fought multiple wars and engaged in frequent clashes over the Himalayan region. Pakistan observes January 5th as Self-Determination Day, marking the United Nations resolution passed after the first war between the two nations in 1947-48. However, while demanding the implementation of this resolution, Pakistan conveniently ignores its own obligations under the same, including the withdrawal of its forces from the areas of Jammu and Kashmir it illegally occupies. India has consistently rejected Pakistan's interference in its internal matters, reiterating that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. Meanwhile, Rana Sanaullah, senior advisor to Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, on Sunday warned that Pakistan would launch another attack on Afghanistan if faced with threats or risks of attacks originating from Kabul's territory. In an interview, he stated that under international law, Pakistan has the right to act across borders to protect its sovereignty. He emphasized that Pakistan would act at an appropriate time whenever a threat arises. The Taliban claimed that Pakistan military's airstrike in December killed at least 50 people, including women and children. This was Pakistan's second airstrike in Afghanistan in 2024. Pakistani officials stated that the strike targeted military and media centers of the TTP and reportedly killed several of its commanders. Following the airstrikes, the relations between the two countries have gone sour. Moving on, amid growing calls for the extradition of Sheikh Hasina, a close aide of Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus has stated that there will be no reconciliation with the deposed Prime Minister until she and her party members are tried for alleged murders and corruption. In a Facebook post on Sunday, Yunus's press secretary Shafiqul Alam said that 5 months ago, when Hasina fled to India following protests, it marked the end of her nearly 16-year-long brutal and corrupt leadership. He added that a revamped and globally recognized International Crimes Tribunal has been engaged to prosecute Hasina and her associates. Alam further highlighted that scores of Awami League politicians have been arrested while hundreds remain on the run. Terming Hasina's trial a key priority of the Yunus government, Alam said that they will be relentless in their efforts to bring her back to Bangladesh to face justice and accountability for the alleged murders of approximately 1,500 students, workers and others during the July uprising. There won't be any slackening of our efforts, he asserted. Alam further stated that while Hasina and her clan have been consigned to the dustbin of history, it is now the responsibility of ordinary Awami League supporters to distance themselves from her tainted legacy. Meanwhile, amid strained ties, Bangladesh also on Sunday cancelled a planned training program for 50 judges and judicial officers in India. The Bangladesh's Law Ministry confirmed the decision, saying that only a previous notification permitting the program had been revoked. Reports suggest that the decision to revoke the program aligns with Bangladesh Supreme Court's directives. The program, scheduled to take place in India's Madhya Pradesh state from 10th February, would have been fully funded by the Indian government. Relations between the two nations have been tense following political upheavals in Bangladesh. Former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, ousted by a student-led protest in August last year, fled to India after her Awami League's 16-year rule ended. Since the interim government led by Muhammad Yunus assumed power, there have been rising concerns about minority rights in Bangladesh, further complicating ties with India. With the Mahakumbh Mela just around the corner, preparations in Prayagraj are in full swing for the world's largest gathering of humanity. Take a look.
As the Mahakumbh Mela, the world's largest gathering of humanity, approaches, authorities in India's Prayagraj are leaving no stone unturned to ensure the event's smooth and secure conduct. This past week, police and paramilitary forces conducted security and rescue drills to assess preparedness. According to police authorities, robust security preparations include thousands of surveillance cameras, and personnel have been deployed at the venue to prevent any untoward incidents. In anticipation of the massive influx of pilgrims, organizers have constructed temporary pontoon bridges, mass kitchens, and hundreds of thousands of portable toilets. Thousands of large tents have also been set up to accommodate the pilgrims, creating a sprawling pop-up city along the river banks.
सुरक्षा है, आप देखिए चाक चौकस व्यवस्थाएं हैं हमारे यहाँ पे। सारे हमारे मेला क्षेत्र जो है वो सीसीटीवी के द्वारा कवर्ड है, और इसके साथ साथ हम ग्राउंड पे भी आप हमारे फुट सोल्जर रहेंगे और सादे में भी रहेंगे, और हम पूरी तरीके से इक्विप्ड भी रहेंगे ताकि किसी तरह की कोई घटना कारित नहीं होने पाए।
Meanwhile, an atmosphere of spiritual fervor and devotion has filled the air in Prayagraj as the Mahakumbh Mela draws closer. Seers from several major akhadas have already arrived at the campsite, including Niranjani Akhada, Ehwan Akhada, Atal Akhada, Mahanirvani Akhada, and Juna Akhada, the largest akhada in the sannyasi tradition. The Mahakumbh, celebrated every 12 years, is expected to draw over 45 crore devotees this year. During the event, devotees will gather at the Sangam, the confluence of the Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati rivers, to take a holy dip, a ritual believed to absolve sins and grant moksha or liberation.
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow.